What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Martin-Fitzwater, who has been going through all the comprehensive blood work before he gets into the real off-season grind and into the prep for his upcoming 2025 season. Because the way his shows are scheduled, starting with FIBO Germany, he won't really have a proper off-season, especially as far as these startup shows are concerned, because he is most likely going to be right on the prep, starting January. So Martin is very realistic about his chances of winning the Olympia next year. He knows he's up against a mass monster, a big guy who is 300 pounds on the stage. And on top of that, we all know the reigning Miss Olympia Samson Lauda is very aesthetic and so polished. So Martin is using this year solely to collect those big paychecks. And that, I have got to say, is the best decision that he could have made, as the man is just 27 years old. And the only thing that Martin needs to do is to stay healthy and injury-free. Now, I have got to say, from that perspective, in that aspect, it is kinda in his favor that he did not continue his training with Branch Warren, because for some reason, Branch, we all know, went through most part of his career training so recklessly. But that being said, he did not have any injury. I don't think any other IFB pro, they can take that kind of beating year after year and still stay injury-free, and that is why he is one of a kind. So coming back to Martin, he was easily the most impactful guy who returned to the stage after a 1-year gap this year, because nobody thought that he would be able to place top 4 at the Olympia in his first try. And that was something really special. Next up, we have the physique update from the former 2-times Classic Physique Olympia champion, Brion Ansley. So I am waiting for his big announcement on whether he is gonna stay in Classic Physique or move into the 212 class for next year. Now, one thing is pretty certain. After his lowest ever placing at this past Miss Olympia, he just isn't winning the Classic Physique Olympia title again. If anything, he might go further down in placings, because some of these young up-and-coming guys, they are just so hungry, and they are so genetically gifted as well, and they are more classic than him. Plus, they are improving at much faster pace than Brion is, because at this point, he is just holding on to what he has already built. Now, it was a perfect case scenario for Brion to beat Ramon Dino for the very first time in 3 years. And Dino, who was just way off this year, he still beat Brion at 2 shows this year, the Arnold and the Olympia. So maybe it is time for Brion to give 212 division a try, which I'm not implying is gonna be any easier for him. But Brion won't have to regret years from now, when he is retired, that what if he let his body grow into a bigger class and presented a way better package, a way bigger package than what we saw from him in Classic Physique. Because even with the increased weight limit, it is still a big challenge for Brion to make the weight. And you bet he loses quite a lot of muscle in order to accomplish that. And because of that, he stays very mindful about how much weight he can put on, even in the off-season phase. Next up, we have an 11 weeks out physique update from James Hollingshead. Now you can just tell how motivated he is for this comeback, for this upcoming Arnold. And him and his coach Stefan, they have developed a strong bond that has turned James into a very coachable athlete, which is something his former coach Milo Sorsev and all the other coaches that worked with him previously failed to do. Now James in his recent physique updates looks crazy impressive, considering the man is 300 pounds and that condition that he's holding on to right now. That, I have got to say, is just way too far out for him to look this big and this lean. I guess the one weakness that James is still gonna have on the stage, even if he peaks 100% right, if he brings his 100%, even if he is truly shredded, that is his shoulder width. He isn't the widest guy on the stage. He doesn't have the best shape out there either. And his delts are something that he has been working on for so many years now. So the thing with James is that we haven't seen him really nail it 100% in any of the shows that he has done in the last couple of years. The Arnold Ohio was quite an impressive package from him, and that is why he was able to make top 5 in that show. But in James's own words, that was like 85% of his full potential. Now, I think Stefan has only 2 guys in the men's open class for this upcoming Arnold, William Bonac and James Hollingshead. And I just hope that he brings James 100% at this upcoming show. It is so crazy to see a 300 pounds off-season bodybuilder like Nathan D'Asha taking on this kind of challenge. that consisted of rows as well as high intensity cardio. And I have got to say he did a very good job with that. Now, I was kind of hoping that Nathan might jump into this upcoming Arnold, Ohio, because he has taken a long break this time as well. Now he did had a good offseason after being done from this year's competitive season, as Nathan's last show, that was Dubai Pro. Now, although he did get a pro win this year, but I have to say overall, it was kind of a disappointing year for Nathan, as he just was unable to win a big show like Dubai Pro. But overall, his package here looked very impressive. But Flex Pro Italy, in my opinion, that was a bad look for him, because that was probably the hottest and the fullest he has ever looked on the stage. In fact, he was just so full and so massive that his obliques also got wider, and that might have been the major reason why he lost against Behrouz Tabani at that show. Now, it is so unfortunate that such a great physique who has been qualifying for the Olympia in the last 5 years out of 6 years, he hasn't done the Olympia since 2018.
Give him 2 minutes and it gets even worse.
GoodVito's transformation picture from contest prep to his current off-season phase, where he is roughly 40 pounds heavier than his prep for Detroit Pro. That is just a glimpse that this guy is destined for greatness, especially if he doesn't ruin his waistline during the off-season growth phase, during the process of building up more muscle. Now, other than Samson Dalba, no one has gotten so bigger from one show to the next one, especially in just a few months, while keeping a tighter waistline. And history has shown us that whenever a bodybuilder, they have tried to get too big too fast, it has backfired most of the time. So GoodVito just needs to be very careful and very cautious, specifically about that aspect, that his midsection, his waistline stays the same, considering the fact that he is weighing 40 pounds more here. Now he is going to be all pretty and ecstatic as he starts dieting down, as he starts his prep for the Arnold Brazil next year. But that being said, GoodVito has put on an impressive amount of size, starting from Detroit Pro this year, because that was his last show. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, in April this year. So this has been a proper and a long off season for GoodVito. And we have to keep in mind, he is working with an awesome coach like Chris Aceto in his corner, who is always gonna make sure that he comes in absolutely ripped every time he steps on stage. And that is why he was very close second behind Martin-Fitzwater at this year's Detroit Pro. Now just imagine GoodVito being able to hold on to all that new muscle, all that size that he has built in this offseason, and he brings that same condition that we saw from him this year, especially with that same small waistline. Because if that happens, he is gonna be lights out from the front in a number of shots, because he's gonna have that insane X-frame, that amazing V-taper, which was already one of the best in the world. That I have got to say will be next level next year. Now it is just a matter of time for GoodVito. He is gonna be one of the top guys at the Olympia level. And the craziest part is that the man is just 27 years old. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.